speak to Andrew,
the Israelis.
Caddy, speaking to the issue of ownership. Here, Barack Obama ran on a platform of change. This goes to your book. But he's going to own these problems after a year's time. In your new book, The Inheritance, you write the following about Obama's problems. In a year's time, Obama will not be able to blame problems on the mess he found when he walked into the Oval Office. While Obama could order sped-up withdrawals of American troops from Iraq, his advisors know that if they leave too rapidly and sectarian violence flares anew, it will be blamed on the new president's over-eagerness and inexperience. If Obama honors his pledge to commit more forces to stabilizing and rebuilding Afghanistan, he risks getting bogged down in a country more ungovernable than Iraq. If he authorizes more raids over the Pakistan border to root out al-Qaeda, as he vowed he would, he will be charged with acting as unilaterally as Bush did in violation of Pakistani sovereignty. If he fails to warn the Iranians that the price for refusing to dismantle their nuclear program will be high and that all options are on the table, he runs the risk of looking like an easy mark. Andrea?
Well, not only does it limit his options, but he is now going to be under enormous pressure to do something to restrain Israel. And that is a very difficult position for Barack Obama to take. Hillary Clinton can give him some cover on that because of her staunch support for Israel along the way. But there's going to be almost universal pressure on him to do that. Now, there was a very promising negotiating track through Turkey and Damascus that even days before this engagement began, before the air attacks began, they were very close, it was believed, to signing an agreement between Damascus and Israel, and Turkey was the broker there. Turkey could become the broker through Damascus again to reach out to Hamas, to the Hamas leaders who are in Syria. Mm-hmm. So there are negotiating strategies. But before that can take place, Israel has to achieve some sort of exit strategy that gives it respectability, and Hamas has to feel that it has some sort of exit strategy. What the U.S. is hoping is that they can restore the 2005 agreements where Hamas will agree not to rocket Israel, Israel will agree to open the borders, and there are U.S. Army Corps of Engineer personnel on the ground right now on the Egypt side looking at the tunnels to see how Egypt could be reassured that there won't be continued smuggling through on that corps. And yet so this is a very delicate
Right. But that excerpt, David Sanger, from your book speaks to some of the larger challenges that the president-elect faces.
David, we're beyond the point of saying that Barack Obama inherits a lot of messes around the world. He also inherits a lot of activities that President Bush began, and he's going to have to make some very difficult decisions about whether to continue them. One of his intelligence chiefs said to me that President Bush wrote a lot of checks that Barack Obama is going to have to cash. And I think what he means by that is there are covert actions that have begun that Obama is going to have to look at even before he fully understands them. Another one of Obama's aides said to me, in many ways we have the Bay of Pigs problem, which is the action that President Kennedy inherited from Dwight Eisenhower, and he didn't fully understand it. Pakistan's a great example of this. President Bush last summer authorized a series of ground actions that included going after non-Al-Qaeda members. And Barack Obama is going to have to decide, do you do that or not?
Hisham?
Look, he has to come up with a different paradigm. He cannot do what George Bush did. What George Bush did was disastrous. He really ignored the Arab-Israeli conflict until last year. And even then, it was driven by Condi Rice's push for resolution. He has to come up with a paradigm that says our approach should be regional-centric, not Israel-centric. Right. There is an Arab peace initiative, and if everybody is interested in isolating Iran, there has to be a revival of all the peace tracks, including Syria, Lebanon, as well as the Palestinians. Right. But he has to push very hard and show the Israelis some tough love, as well as showing the Muslim world tough love, because he's working on an initiative towards the Muslim world.
But 30 seconds, Jeffrey.
Let me just point out a possible opportunity for Barack Obama in this. And I don't mean to be Pollyannish, and it's always safe to be pessimistic about the Middle East. But if we come out of this with a weakened Hamas, that actually helps Barack Obama, because who is going to ultimately negotiate with Israel? It's not Hamas. It's the Palestinian Authority. It's Fatah on the West Bank. If Hamas is weakened, that gives them a chance to actually speak for the Palestinians, and there might be a negotiation opportunity.